Hey, it's me. So, what's the goal of all this inner work? The heart of it, it's simple. It's about becoming your true self, the real you. And we explore that from a lot of different angles. Let's start by talking about the difference between your real self and your outer self. Or, in other words, your deeper inner truth versus the part of you that shows up day to day, which is often called the ego. Now, there's a lot of confusion out there about the ego. Some people say it's bad and needs to be gotten rid of. Others, especially in psychology, say the ego is necessary and actually plays an important role in being mentally and emotionally healthy. So, which is true? Both. Both perspectives hold a piece of the truth. Your real self is your core. It's deeply connected to nature, to life, to something much bigger. It's not separate from the natural world. It is nature. That's why when you're in touch with your real self, you feel peaceful, alive, joyful, and creative. Your deepest truth isn't something to fear. It's something you can trust completely. It's the part of you that's connected to beauty, wisdom, and love. And then there's the ego, which is more like your surface self. Part of you that helps you make decisions, sets boundaries, takes action, and thinks clearly in the world. You need a healthy ego in order to live well in everyday life. If your ego is too weak, it's hard to function or cope with challenges. If your ego is too big or inflated, it can block you from connecting with your real self. Okay, so here's something important to understand. Most people don't just have a big ego or a small ego across the board. We usually have some parts of us that are overdeveloped and others that are underdeveloped. This imbalance can cause a lot of the struggle we feel inside. Sometimes we even build up one part to try and make up for another part that feels weak. And here's where the seeming contradiction becomes clear. You can only let go of the ego after it has been developed in a healthy way. You can only let go of the ego after it has been developed in a healthy way. That might sound strange, but it's actually really important. If your ego isn't strong enough, trying to transcend it or skip over it doesn't help. It just creates more confusion and weakness. You need to be grounded and solid in your ego first to know how to think clearly, make choices, take care of yourself, and face life head on. Only then can you move beyond the ego and tap into something deeper and more meaningful. Trying to bypass ego development is often just avoidance. It's like trying to leap to the top of a ladder without climbing the steps. It doesn't work. In fact, skipping steps usually slows us down. When you truly own your ego, when you've taken responsibility for it and shaped it into something strong, then you're ready to go beyond. This path teaches you to use your ego as a tool to reach higher awareness. You use your thinking, your curiosity, your willingness to explore, all functions of your ego, to open the door to something much deeper inside you. In a way, your ego is the bridge. Now, some people only ever focus on building a stronger ego. They think that's the goal. But that path has a ceiling. They eventually hit a wall because the deeper truth is that we're so much more than just our outer identity. The key law here is you have to fully experience and build one stage before you can let it go and move into the next. You have to fully experience and build one stage before you can let it go and move into the next. You can't truly rise above something until you've stood solidly in it. You'll see this show up everywhere. Before you can access your inner power, you have to accept your human limitations. Before you can experience deep, lasting joy, you have to be okay with imperfect, everyday pleasures. Before you reach real freedom, you have to take full responsibility for where you are now. And here's the beautiful paradox. Once you stop chasing perfection from a place of desperation or fear, you begin to uncover a deeper, more grounded sense of wholeness that's been there all along. Not from the ego, but from the real self. The more we accept ourselves and our current reality, the more space we create to grow into something bigger. This isn't about someday reaching a perfect state far off into the future. It's about a shift in the quality of your experience. And that can happen in any moment. It can happen right now. When you stop rejecting where you are and start relating to yourself with honesty and trust, something starts to awaken. Of course, the ego still has its role. You need to navigate life, this human life, and the ego is a part of that. But when your ego is in balance, not too weak, not inflated, you can start to let it guide you without letting it run the show. You start to trust the deeper part of you that's connected to everything. This is how we grow. Not by pretending we're already perfect, by getting real, learning to trust ourselves, and taking the steps we need, one at a time, toward that deeper truth within us. When you get there, even just a glimpse, you'll feel something you've been longing for your whole life. Peace, power, clarity, and joy. It's not something far away. It's already inside you, just waiting to be remembered. Love you. Connect soon.